Good morning, I'm Gaby Roslin, and a warm welcome from the headquarters of the Trade Desk in the City of London. This morning I'm delighted to be here to announce the nominations for the Royal Television Society Programme Awards 2023, presented in partnership with Audio Network. In just a moment, we'll be revealing the full list of this year's nominations. It's a list which celebrates the very best of creativity in British television, a list which genuinely reflects the broad, rich variety of production from British programme makers. All kinds of producers appear in this year's nominations, from the smallest boutique indies to the big-name studios. Once again, it's a reminder of just how precious the production and broadcasting ecosystem in this country, in British television, has an unrivaled range of quality in literally every genre. And in this year's nominations list, we see some of the very, very best. So, how has the nominations list been decided? Well, since the first weeks of January, juries carefully selected from across our industry have watched hundreds of hours of submitted programme entries. Each jury met on Zoom to discuss what they'd watched, and for each category, a short list of 3 nominations was agreed. A secret ballot then determined the category winner, and so let's move on to the nominations. We begin with the drama categories, and once again this year there is outstanding world-class work competing in all the drama categories. The golden age of television drama shows no sign of ending. In the drama series category, there are nominations for Sherwood, produced for the BBC; The Responder, produced for the BBC; and Top Boy, produced for Netflix. In the drama limited series category, the nominations are Anne, produced for ITV1; Chloe, produced for the BBC; and Mood, produced for the BBC. And in the single drama category, the nominations are Life and Death in the Warehouse, produced for the BBC; The House, produced for Netflix; and Then Barbara Met Alan, produced for the BBC. In the soap and continuing drama category, this year's nominations are Casualty, produced for the BBC; EastEnders, produced for the BBC; and Hollyoaks, produced for Channel 4. In the drama performance categories, the nominations for newly titled category of female leading actor are Billie Piper for I Hate Susie 2, produced for Sky Atlantic; Kate Winslet for I Am Ruth, produced for Channel 4; and Monica Dolan for The Thief, His Wife and the Canoe, produced for ITV1. In the newly titled category of male leading actor, the nominees are Kane Robinson for Top Boy, produced for Netflix; Kit Connor for Heartstopper, produced for Netflix; and Chesky Spencer for The English, produced for the BBC. The retitling of the 2 leading actor categories is to accommodate the introduction this year of 2 new awards for drama performance, 2 categories for supporting actors. The nominees for female supporting actor are Ambika Mod for This Is Going to Hurt, produced for the BBC; Saffron Hocking for Top Boy, produced for Netflix; and Adelayo Adedayo for The Responder, produced for the BBC. In the male supporting actor category, the nominees are Adil Akhtar for Sherwood, produced for the BBC; Stephen Walters for Anne, produced for ITV1; and Stephen Merchant for 4 Lives, produced for the BBC. Now we move on to factual programmes, a genre that's enjoying a period of particular excellence right now. In the formatted popular factual category, the nominated programmes are Gogglebox, produced for Channel 4. Idris Elba's Fight School, produced for the BBC. And The Repair Shop, A Royal Visit, produced for the BBC. In the History category, the nominations are AIDS, The Unheard Tapes, produced for the BBC. Italia 90, 4 Weeks That Changed the World, produced for Sky Documentaries. And Our Falklands War, A Frontline Story, produced for the BBC. In the Live Event category, the nominees are Glastonbury 2022, produced for the BBC. Platinum Party at the Palace, produced for the BBC. And The State Funeral of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, produced for the BBC. Our congratulations to the BBC for all 3 nominations in the Live Event category. British documentary making is at the top of its game, and there are programmes of real quality competing in both the documentary series and single documentary categories. The nominations in the documentary series category are Big Oil versus the World, produced for the BBC. Gaza, produced for the BBC. And Jeremy Kyle's show, Death on Daytime, produced for Channel 4. For the single documentary category, the nominated programmes are Dying to Divorce, produced for Sky Documentaries. The Tinder Swindler, produced for Netflix. And Will Young, Losing My Twin Rupert, produced for Channel 4. In the arts category, the nominated programmes are The Evolution of Black British Music, produced for BET UK. The Ghost of Richard Harris, produced for Sky Arts. And This Is Joan Collins, produced for the BBC. Our congratulations to BET UK for their first ever Programme Award nomination. The category previously known as Science and Natural History has been retitled this year as Science and the Natural World, and the nominations are My Dead Body, produced for Channel 4. My Garden of 1,000 Bees, produced for Sky Nature. And The Green Planet, produced for the BBC. Congratulations to Sky Nature for their first ever Programme Award nomination. In the presenter category, this year's nominees are Hugh Edwards for The State Funeral of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, produced for the BBC. Martin Lewis for The Martin Lewis Money Show Live, produced for ITV1. And Ramita Nave for Afghanistan, No Country for Women, produced for ITV1. The sports coverage and production categories are keenly contested again this year. For the Sports Programme Award, the nominations are Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games, produced for the BBC. Winter Paralympics, today in Beijing, produced for Channel 4. And Women's Euros 2022, produced for the BBC. In the category of sports presenter, commentator or pundit, the nominees are Ade Adepitan for Winter Paralympics 2022, produced for Channel 4. Gabby Logan for Women's Euros 2022, produced for the BBC. And Roy Keane for the FIFA World Cup 2022, produced for ITV1 and ITV4. Entertainment is, as we all know, a massively popular genre and one where it can be notoriously difficult to establish a hit. This year's nominations are all big, ambitious shows with great talent and ingenuity at their heart. In the entertainment programme category, the nominated shows are Joe Lycett's Big Pride Party, produced for Channel 4. The Latest Show with Mo Gilligan, produced for Channel 4. And The Traitors, produced for the BBC. In the entertainment performance category, the 3 nominees are Jordan Stevens for Don't Hate the Players, produced for ITV2. Mo Gilligan for The Latest Show with Mo Gilligan, produced by Channel 4. And Claudia Winkleman for The Traitors, produced for the BBC. In the daytime category, this year's nominated programmes are Come Dine With Me, The Professionals, produced for Channel 4. Loose Men, produced for ITV1. And Scam Interceptors, produced for the BBC. In the children's programme category, the nominees are COP27, 6 Ways to Save Our Planet, produced for Sky Kids and Sky News. Corpse Talk, produced for YouTube Originals. And Dodger, produced for CBBC. And now we move on to the comedy categories. In the new comedy drama category, the nominated series are Am I Being Unreasonable, produced for the BBC. Brassic, produced for Sky Max. And Cheaters, produced for the BBC. In the comedy entertainment category, the nominees are Friday Night Live, produced for Channel 4. Joe Lycett versus David Beckham, a Got Your Back special, produced for Channel 4. And Sorry, I Didn't Know, produced for ITV1. The comedy performance categories are next, and the nominees for female comedy performance are Daisy May Cooper for Am I Being Unreasonable, produced for the BBC. Leah Brothershead for Hull Raisers, produced for Channel 4. And Rose Matafeo for Starstruck, produced for the BBC. For male comedy performance, the 3 nominees are Samson Kayo for Bloods, produced for Sky One. And you remember that Samson won this award last year for his performance in the same show. John Pointing for Big Boys, produced for Channel 4. And Lenny Rush for Am I Being Unreasonable, produced for the BBC. The Breakthrough Award is now in its 8th year. It's presented to honour an emerging, significant new talent in television, either in front or behind the camera. The roll call of previous winners is an amazing list. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Michaela Cole, Daniel Lawrence, Taylor Naban Rizwan, Tanya Moody, Mae Martin, and last year's winner, the writer, director and actor Ajani Salmon. This year's 3 nominees are the young actor Lenny Rush, who made an incredible impact as Ollie in Daisy May Cooper's comedy series Am I Being Unreasonable on BBC One. The creator, executive producer and performer Nicole Leckie, whose stunning breakout musical drama series Mood on BBC Three won major acclaim when it premiered last spring. And the performer Eddie Caddy, the new team captain on ITV1's panel game show Sorry, I Didn't Know, whose hilarious insights delighted audiences week after week. All 3 nominees are rising stars to keep watching, and our huge congratulations to all of them on this mark of recognition. The Programme Awards has a long established tradition of honouring the role that writers play in creating outstanding television. The RTS is proud to do so again this year. In the comedy writing category, the nominees are Jack Rook for Big Boys, produced for Channel 4, Lisa McGee for Dairy Girls, produced for Channel 4, and Sam Leifer and Tom Basden for Plebs, Soldiers of Rome, produced for ITVX. Our congratulations to ITVX for their first ever Programme Award nomination. For drama writing, the nominees are Lucy Prebble for I Hate Susie 2, produced for Sky Atlantic, Sharon Horgan for Bad Sisters, produced for Apple TV+, and Will Smith for Slow Horses, produced for Apple TV+. Our congratulations to Apple TV+ for their first ever Programme Award nominations, and 2 in the same category. And so there they all are, the nominations for this year's RTS Programme Awards. Our sincere congratulations to all of the nominees, in particular to the BBC, for leading the pack with 40 nominations, and to broadcast channels and streamers who appear on the list for the very first time ever. It's now my pleasure to hand over to the Chief Executive of the Royal Television Society, Teresa Wise.
Thanks so much, Gabby, and thank you too for leading us through the nominations for this year's Programme Awards. May I add my own congratulations to all the nominees announced this morning. As Gabby said, the list is testimony to the rude health of British content creation, and listening to all those nominations is a reminder of what a fantastic year it's been for television. After all the challenges for production and broadcasting presented by the pandemic, television really has bounced back. There was a particularly high number of submissions this year, and I'd like to thank everyone who entered the programmes for consideration. The Programme Awards is the main fundraising event in our calendar, and we couldn't do it without the continuing engagement of the broadcasters, content platform and producers. So thank you very much for your support. My sincerest thanks also to everyone who gave up their valuable time to watch the shows and sit on our juries. This is no small task and involves watching hours and hours of television, all in addition to the day job. We really are very grateful. At the RTS, we work hard to make sure our juries reflect the diversity of modern life. So I'm pleased to report that of 217 jurors this year, 126 identified as female, 90 identified as male, and 1 identified as non-binary. 66 jurors, that's just over 30%, identified as non-white minority ethnic. Audio Network are our sponsor partner for the Programme Awards again this year, and my thanks to them for their great ongoing support of our event, which we continue to truly appreciate. And finally, our thanks to Kenton Allen, who has served as chair of the Programme Awards again this year. Thank you, Kenton. So all that remains is for me to remind you that the Programme Awards will be on Tuesday, 28th of March at the Grosvenor House Hotel in London. If you haven't booked your table yet, don't delay any longer. I'm thrilled that after doing such an outstanding job last year, Tom Allen is back to host. So we can all expect a highly entertaining evening celebrating the very best of British television. I'll look forward to seeing you then for the RTS Programme Awards 2023, presented in partnership with Audio Network. Thank you.